Hello and welcome. You've tuned into Business Lunch. I'm Nisha Podar, and with me as always is Sonia Shinoy. Sonia, good afternoon. It's a little bit of a weak day of trade today. As far as Nifty 50 is concerned, 11,840 odd levels. 0.5% down on Nifty 50, as well as the Sensex losing about 200 points at the moment right now in lunch hour. Mid caps, they have been underperforming the key indices. Bank Nifty also down 0.9% at the moment. It's the financial sector stress which is really weighing on the market. IndusInd Bank, Yes Bank are some of the top losers, along with the big boy Reliance Industries.
Oh, absolutely. And, we perhaps saw this coming, right? There was big selling from FIs yesterday. Yesterday, the markets closed in the red for the first time in 3 days. And today as well, all the companies that have exposure to stressed assets are under pressure right now. But Anuj is also here to give us a view on how things are going to pan out here on. Anuj, looking like a very difficult market for now. The mid-cap index is down almost 200 odd points. You were making this point earlier that perhaps we could see further downsides, because of all these issues that the market is hit with. But how do you be positioned as a trader now?
For starters, the top three traded stocks on the Nifty, Sonia, IndusInd Bank, Indiabulls Housing, and Yes Bank. Most of them are seeing volumes of 800 to 1300 crores. In fact, Yes Bank is 1300 crores. So I don't know how much of that will be delivery volume, but there's going to be quite a bit. The market right now is being defended by essentially, TCS. Also, Axis Bank is, trying to bat for the bulls. But clearly, the weaker quality stocks or the problem stocks are the ones going down. I think the bigger problem for the market today, Sonia, is the way HDFC Bank has started to fall. Because, that really was the one where at least the market hoped that there's no problem. But that stock right now is at the low point, down only 0.25%, but at least there's no support from that pocket. The Nifty has taken support at a very crucial level. If you see the Nifty is low today, it's very close to the 20-day moving average. 20-day moving average is 11,790. So there's a good chance that at least once you would want to defend that level and then move on and then see whether there's second round of selling. So for now, defending the lower end of the range. On the Bank Nifty, what's clear is that you've broken down a very crucial support mark, 30,800, and now that will be a resistance. Like we've been pointing out, just slam dunk on weak quality stocks, whether it's DHFL, whether it's Jet Airways, whether it's the ADAG pack, whether it's Suzlon, all these stocks, IRB Infra. Though IRB has recovered quite a bit now from the low point, so that remains the problem point for the market again.
Okay, Anuj, well, thanks a lot for joining us. So the problem pockets for the market continues. But let's do one thing. Let's also take you through all the stocks that are in focus today. From the banking space, first up, IndusInd Bank and Yes Bank are declining in trade on concerns around high exposures to stressed NBFCs. UBS has cut the target price for both banks.
NMDC, that counter is also trading with losses today because the stock recovers but still trades with cuts. Chhattisgarh mine resumes operations today.
Jet Airways also trading with heavy losses, down 20%. The NCLT Mumbai will be hearing the case in the second half.
All right, let's take it straight across to Adani Group and Adani Enterprises. It is the D-Day for Adani Enterprises as the company has received the final approval to start work on its Carmichael coal mine project. To discuss this and more, we have with us Lucas Dow, who's the CEO of Adani Australia Mining, joining us on the phone line now. Lucas, so good to have you on CNBC TV 18. And I still remember covering this particular aspect and the deal way back in 2010. So it has been a long tryst with the regulators, with the politicians there. Many congratulations. But how soon do you think that the construction can start, and how soon will that benefit really trickle in on the Adani Enterprises balance sheet?
Good afternoon, Sonia and Nisha. And obviously it is an important step forward for us today. And now the team's focused on being able to start construction. Obviously, we're going through our checklist over the coming days, and then we'll see construction start shortly, which is obviously very exciting. And ultimately, we've got around a 2-year period before we're in a position of exporting coal through to India.
Okay. Lucas, hi, good afternoon, and congratulations. Finally, approvals are in place perhaps, but I want to know more about what's happening with funding. How much have you already invested into this project? And, how are you planning to fund it? Because the debt on the balance sheet is pretty hefty. As of now, I think it's over about 26,000 crores of consolidated liabilities that the Adani Group has. So what is the plan as far as funding is concerned for this project?
So I think to be clear, so to date, the Adani Group's invested over $3.5 billion in Australia, which includes the acquisition of the Abbott Point coal port facility. Obviously, right now, in order to be able to complete the construction of the mine, we'll be investing, the mine and rail will be investing around 2 billion Australian to conclude that. And in terms of funding, that'll be coming from the Adani Group resources. So effectively, that's like a treasury function that'll be provided to our project, and then we'll be executing that project to be able to deliver that coal in a period of around 2 years.
When you say $2 billion will be invested from the Adani Group, does that mean more debt that the group will take up, or will it be from internal resources?
No, look, that's ultimately a question for the Adani Group. Essentially, as the Australian entity here, the funding is coming from the Adani Group, and so ultimately that'll be a question for the group in India to be able to provide a response on.
All right, let's talk about the operations and the timelines for that, Lucas. So you said $2 billion to be invested. Can you tell us the time period in which you're going to invest this money? How much has already been invested? And what is the ramp-up plan to reach that 10 million per ton, 10 million tons per annum kind of a target?
So that's right. So right now, from this period on, it'll cost us around 2 billion Australian to complete 200 kilometres of rail construction, and then ramp the mine up to a 10 million tonne per annum capacity. I think importantly, now that we've cleared these final hurdles, it means that the mine's actually permitted to go up to 60 million tonnes as well. So our focus initially is to build to the 10 million tonnes, but we've clearly got those options of being able to go beyond that as well.
Okay. Since a part of the 2 billion will be invested by the Adani Group, I assume that the coal from Carmichael would be used for Adani Power. What kind of backward integration synergies could develop from this deal?
Well, as you rightly point out, we're obviously a significant energy producer, so there's an opportunity there for the offtake to be consumed within the Adani Group. And that's clearly, for that first 10 million tonnes, the Adani Group will be the principal offtake in that arrangement, and then if there's an opportunity to grow beyond that, third parties will also be involved.
In first year of production, Lucas, how much coal are you looking to generate?
So in the initial stage, the mine will be producing 10 million tonnes per year, but that's, if you like, the initial stage, and clearly, as I mentioned previously, we're permitted to go up to 60 million tonnes as well.
All right. So one of the research, groups overseas, Woodmac, has really raised one concern about meeting the time frame of 2 years of production time or construction time that you're mentioning. They have clearly stated that we anticipate at least a 12-month delay to Adani's target of first coal exports, approximately 2 years from the commencement of construction. So is that factored in? Are there any challenges in meeting that particular time frame, Lucas?
No, so we've got a 2-year time frame horizon, and we're very confident of being able to meet that.
Okay. In terms of the funding itself, sorry to keep coming back to that, but have you had any interactions with the Adani Group on the funding requirements? Are you confident that the funds could come through? Because A, I understand that a lot of banks had walked out of this deal earlier, and B, there is this huge debt pile that the group is sitting on.
No, I think to be clear, the Adani Group's already funded over $3.5 billion Australian investment here in Queensland, Australia. So, the ability to be able to fund the remaining $2 billion is certainly well within the group's resources.
Right.
Okay.
What is the kind of revenue benefit that you are anticipating? I know it's 2 years away, the construction is 2 years away, but also if you could give us the timeline, are you looking at a production of 10 million tons in the first year of your project going on ground? That's what we wanted to know, the first year production level and how you're going to ramp up in the phased manner. If you can give us a little bit of the timeline and indication of that, and also the revenue benefits on your balance sheet as well.
So the mine activity will be paced to coincide with the rail, such that when the rail's there, that we'll be able to run at a nominal capacity of around 10 million tonnes. So essentially, at that 2-year period, we'll be at that 10 million tonne per annum run rate. and then clearly our coal will be priced at an index or a market index rate. Here in Australia, typically the reference point is the Newcastle 5500 kilocalorie index, and then clearly on an energy adjusted basis will flow from there.
Okay, Lucas, we will leave it at that. Thanks for joining us and giving us a lot of details on this particular project. The Adani Group has already invested a sum total of $3.5 billion Australian dollars in this particular project, and they're confident of meeting that 2-year target. By the way, this Indiabulls housing case, it's been very, very interesting. The petitioner itself, Abhay Yadav, has withdrawn that writ petition in the Supreme Court. Remember, there was a big allegation of that 98,000 crore, fund. There were huge allegations of misusing funds, siphoning of funds, etc. So now the petitioner itself, Abhay Yadav, has withdrawn that writ petition in the Supreme Court. So that's Indiabulls Housing. Of course, it's been a stock that has been under a lot of pressure lately. But after the petitioner withdrew that case, the stock is seeing a bit of a relief rally at the moment, up about 2-odd%. The entire group, actually, all the stocks are up about 2 to 2.5-odd%. We'll take a short break, but on the other side, after a temporary shutdown, NMDC's Chhattisgarh mines have resumed their operations. Stay